Hi, and I'm J.T.
And I'm Patty.
And this is our
What the fuck happened to your hair?
Bro, chill. Podcast. So, Patty, do you have any idea what objectivism is?
Vaguely.
So, can you just give me your impression of what objectivism is, and then I'll go explain it a little deeper.
It's based off a book.
A collection of books.
Okay, collection of books. And it's about, like, the person as an individual making themselves and not, like, needing other people.
I would say the second part is definitely very true, and there's a lot of individualism. So, good on you, Patty. You get objective points. But the broad definition I would put in is the proper moral purpose of one's life is the pursuit of his own happiness, right? So a person should really pursue what makes him or her happy. It's called rational self-interest. Do you have any questions so far?
Not so much a question as a statement of, well, just from me personally,
Yeah.
How do you live only thinking about yourself?
Well, now here's the thing, right? And this is what's going to make Ayn Rand and objectivism very controversial, and where people are going to start getting pissed off at me, is that we don't have, according to our philosophy, or let's say like her philosophy, my philosophy, or whatever.
Are you guys like tight? It's our philosophy. You're just like best buds.
Nah, I don't want to say, like, the reason I don't want to say our is because then it's more of like a collective thing, and that's a very big thing we're against. But
yeah.
But
wow, just any collectivism at all.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. But
wow.
But here's the thing that's very controversial is that we don't feel.
You don't feel.
Whatever. Okay. Objectivists don't feel that we have a moral duty. We don't have a duty to serve other people. Okay?
All right. Well, at least from how I view life, it's not a duty for me to help others. Like, it's not like it's my sole purpose in life is to just be like, I have to help others, otherwise my life isn't complete. It's just a thing that you do because you know other people will appreciate it.
No, you see, that's serving others. That's doing something because you know that they would like it. Not doing something because you enjoy it in itself. So, in that instance, you're serving other people. You're serving their self-interest, but not your own.
Well,
and the thing is, it is. You're serving their self-interest.
Volunteering isn't like, you're not serving them if you volunteer. You're just like,
What do you get out of it? What do you get out of it?
The feeling of accomplishment that you made a difference in the world.
What? You're not... Okay, you have no duty to help someone that way, though. Like, it makes totally no sense. Like, you told me, like, you raised your priorities first, but a good person, so in this sense, a moral person, like, spends time being altruistic, helping other people, doing something selflessly. But everything we do that's good is not selfless. There's no such thing as, like let's say love, for instance, a marriage. And Ayn Rand makes a great point here with marriage. No marriage is selfless. Like, relationships of love and everything, they're entirely selfish. Really? You disagree? Because if you think about it, right? Tell me if your boyfriend came to you and was like, I'm only in a relationship with you for your own good. I have no stake in it. Would you really like that?
Well, I know.
Would you really like?
Well, I know he wouldn't say that.
He wouldn't say that, but would you really like that if he did? If he did, would you really like that?
Well, no, I wouldn't.
Exactly, because it's selfless. It's like I want it only because it's helping you.
Okay, but the thing is that, I mean, not to bring up relationship and dating past into it, but I have a little more experience with this than you do. So I just know that in a relationship, yeah, you do some selfish... I mean, it's true. I have more successful relationships than you. though.
Oh, this is going to get dark. This is going to get dark quick.
Though you have really, I mean, I don't know the full extent of your dating history, but I mean, I tend to have more like long-term relationships. At least with this one, I've been working a lot on trying to make sure.
More solid.
I feel like, this one's a lot more solid than other ones I've had, but for this one, I've been a lot more conscious of making sure that I'm not making snap decisions, and I'm not, like, I'm able to see things from other people's point of view.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good of the
But what I'm saying is that you have to put yourself in their position. You can't just be like, oh, this relationship is about me and it's only about me, because that's not the way life works.
That's not in your self-interest, though. Because if you look at it, you want to treat relationships...
In a relationship, you have to, like, sometimes you do things for your partner not because you have to, but because you want to. Because,
think of it this way.
Because if I do something, and I don't do it all the time, but if, like, I do something special for my significant other, I'm doing it because I know that it will make him happy, and seeing him happy makes me happy. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it goes. Like, you don't do this all the time, otherwise it's just draining physically and emotionally. But, like, you know, when you do it, it just makes you happy, because you seeing them happy makes you happy, and then them seeing you happy makes them happy, and it just happiness.
Yeah, but look at it this way. Like, with every business deal, for example, has its own...
We just talked about relationships, and you're going into business.
No, because this is, like, the same thing. It's every business... Like, this has to do with relationships. Every business deal has its own terms. And in the same thing, a relationship has its own terms, too. It may be set in stone where you guys have to sit down, talk, and, like, literally set out, this is what I want, and this is what you want, and this is what we have to come to. Or it may be just implicit, where you guys kind of know what the other person wants, what you want, right? But the thing is, what you're bringing up here is that maybe when you have these relationships, you do some of these things to keep your partner happy so they'll stay. And in a business relationship, right, if you're doing a business contract, for example, you do things so they'll do things for you. So I'm gonna use Atlas Shrugged example. I'm gonna produce X amount of metal or steel so that this person can build a railroad to transfer my steel somewhere else, right? So in that instance, both of them are making a profit off of this, and both of them are benefiting, and both of them are satisfying their self-interest. If one party gets all the self-interest and the other party doesn't, that's morally wrong on both sides, because one person's being exploited and one person's also serving that other person.
Well, to tie it back into relationships, there's a word for that. It's called abusive relationships.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A good relationship is selfish on both ends. It's not,
I get what you're saying, and I get the point you're trying to make. I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with it fully.
Okay.
Like, I get part of what you're trying to say, which is that you have to keep yourself in mind whenever you do things in life. You have to keep your priorities, like, make sure that you're not losing yourself in the things that you do. But I don't agree that you have to be completely selfish, because then...
What's the downside?
If you're completely selfish, then no one gets in a relationship with anyone. What's the point of being in a relationship if you're completely selfish?
No. What's the point? Are you telling me you've dated someone you just didn't want to? Because you sit there, right? And, like, basically when you look at someone, you're looking at, first of all right, maybe I'm interested in this person because of the way they look. Maybe I'm interested in their certain interests they have. Maybe I like the way they act. But it's always I like first. In order to say the words I love you, you need to say the word I. Do you get that point?
I get it. But...
Ayn Rand quote, by the way. It's a good quote. Go. You get it, but...
I get it, but, like, it's not just about you. Like, I know, like, that goes against the whole thing, but, like, when you're actually in a relationship that, like, is based on two people having mutual respect for each other, you can't, like, in an actual, like, long-term relationship, you can't just be like, it's all about me because I'm the only person that matters in this relationship. It's about giving. And when you give, the other person takes, but when they give to you, you're also taking. it's a balance that you have to maintain to have a good relationship.
It's not that there's a tally mark where you're checking off at the end of the day, all right, this person did this much for me, this person did this much for me, right? Again, like, every relationship, whether it be business, whether it be, like, social, whether it be romantic, has its own form of currency. And as Rand said, in love, the currency is virtue. So if your partner is being virtuous to you and you're being virtuous back, right, that's okay. And that's a mutual agreement that you guys have set upon. That's a selfish thing. But if you are just doing it for their own sake, not because you want it, right? If you engage in a relationship and say, oh, well, I'm doing this just for you, then you have no stake in the matter. If anything happened to them, nothing would happen to you. So, like, it makes it a lot more immoral because you don't care. Do you get what I'm saying at that point?
Yeah.
The thing with rational objectivism is that everything can be explained rationally and reasonably. And I know the argument you would bring up, which would be very easy to bring up too, is like, well, relationships aren't rational, nor are they reasonable.
Yeah, like, sometimes things happen and it's just not reasonable, and you can be really pissed at your significant other, but you know what? That's just life, pretty much. Sometimes things can't be explained rationally or objectively, and I know you don't like that, but the thing is that that's the way life works.
No. It's not.
It is. Yes, it is. There are just things that you can't, like, explain. They're just things that happen, and they're just things that you just happen.
No,
and
see what you're doing there, right, is also another sin per se in the subjective thought. Is you're acting on a whim of faith. You're acting on a whim of faith.
Yeah,
this happens just because it happens. No, there's always a reason behind something. There's always logic. You can't sit there and, like, especially considering you, it's very weird because you're an atheist who embraces science, and now you're suddenly saying that, like, things are unexplained and something. Well,
I know that love is explained by science. I know the science behind love and affection and lust and all that other shit. Mm-hmm. I know it. I know the science behind it. But when you're feeling it as a human and not as a brain inside of a skeleton, you're, like, you can't ignore the feeling of love that just comes over you, and you're just like, oh, I'm in love, and it's so nice. But, like, you can't just, I don't know, I guess it just takes the fun out of it. It takes the fun out of love to say that, like, or I guess not takes the fun out of it, but just takes away the magic.
You know what takes away the magic very much is when the partner just does everything for them. You look at that when some young men are chasing women by trying to give them everything. It doesn't work that way. You have to be selfish.
And I'm saying that that's not a good relationship. But
exactly, you have to be selfish.
But you don't. Okay, when I think of selfish, I think of everything is about me and no one else in this fucking world matters. That's my view of selfishness, which might be incredibly extreme, but to me, that's what is like when, for me, if someone is selfish, that means that they couldn't give less of a shit about you.
And first of all...
And that just doesn't work in a romantic relationship, is if your entire relationship, your entire foundation of a relationship, and what I'm assuming is like a long-term, maybe, I don't know about any other relationship, because I can see in, like, short-term, maybe one-night stands, then, sure, that completely applies, because who gives a fuck about them? You're going to see them once, and then you're going to fuck them, and that's it. So, of course, you're going to get everything you want out of that relationship, but in a long-term relationship, you can't just say, this relationship's all about me, and you can go fuck yourself, because that's not...
But that's again, not in your self-interest. You're misunderstanding selfishness, and it's the way that it was taught in this society, right, is that, the person that's selfish is a fucking jerk, right? That's the way it's pretty much taught.
They kind of are.
No, but it's not. The person that's selfish, right, acts in their own self-interest. The person that uses reason acts in their own self-interest.
But you can't...
like a selfish person won't lie.
You can't go through life just only thinking of yourself.
You can't go through life dedicating yourself to others. If you can't provide for yourself,
Okay, we're going on the two extremes. I'm going on the you can't do everything for yourself, and you're saying you can't do everything.
But you can. Because the thing is, doing things for yourself is not just looting and taking things from people. That's totally different. Now, if you want to go with Ayn Rand's, what she believes selfishness was, there's like kind of 5 different...
The 5 bullet points.
The 5 bullet points! There we go. So actually this is from, let's see, AynRand.org, right? If you look at that, it's like one of the first things you'll find. Selfishness is follow reason, not whims of faith. Work hard to achieve a life of purpose and productiveness. Earn genuine self-esteem. Pursue your own happiness as your highest moral aim. And prosper by treating others as individuals, trading value for value. So, does that definition of selfishness sound bad?
Yeah, but you could also achieve...
It does sound bad?
No.
Okay.
But you could achieve those things by helping others.
No.
You could achieve happiness by helping others. A lot of people... That's why people join the Peace Corps. They want to help others, and they get a thrill out of that. Or maybe not a thrill. I don't think you get a thrill by going to some remote village in Ethiopia, but they achieve like happiness and fulfillment from going to those countries and helping those people, and that's how they achieve their fulfillment, and that's how they feel good about the choices in their lives.
Now, what I'm gonna have to say to that though is like, are they truly being helpful in that instance? Because they could be producing things that could be helping those people, and they could be getting it to them and helping them in a different way. Let's say I produce a strain of rice that grows faster, that is cheaper to produce. I've just fed tons of people. All I've done is designed a new kind of rice, and I've made money off of it. And that kind of desire helps people. If I want to make money, for instance, if I want to pursue that thing where I'm going to be selfish, I'm producing things that help people.
Let's keep it on the same plane of... I know this
of
might
volunteering,
be,
you're
volunteering.
saying. Yeah.
You have to also think of the people that actually really want to do it. And so are they really acting selfishly because they really want to help people and it brings them fulfillment in their life?
My thing is do they really want to do that? Is that what they really want? Because you have to look at it again.
Some people do.
No.
Some people really want to help people.
You have to realize, people were, like, a lot of these people were raised
some people
where
wanted,
you are, like, the society comes first, you're not first, you go over there, you do things for other people, and that's what a moral person does. So they're trying to fulfill that desire. But the thing is, they'll never have that fulfilled.
How do you know?
You
don't know this hypothetical person that could be entirely fulfilled with not making a ton of money, going into the Peace Corps, and just helping little kids with malaria. You don't know that person. Maybe they're entirely happy and content with their lives because they know that they're making a difference in the world.
Let's bring up the example of malaria. You help cure malaria, you help fight malaria and everything. That's a little bit in your self-interest because let's say you travel to that country again, maybe to vacation, maybe to do business, maybe whatever the reason is. You run a lower risk of getting malaria because you've killed it. There's a self-interest behind everything. You look at volunteering. What's a good reason to volunteer? That's not altruistic whatsoever. If I want to build a home for veterans, for example, I'm learning skills how to build things. So I can use that and transfer that, and now I can make money, right? And because I'm making money, I'm spending that and helping other people too, because now I'm giving them resources and labor, and they can buy food now with the money they've earned, and it goes in a circle. The money flows. Labor flows. The fact that I'm producing things helps other people. Now, I think you guys are a little bored, so... let's switch to feminism. You get more of it on the front. Oh, I'm Donald Trump.